What's happening, everyone? It is Ray Luzier. Most of you know me for the band Korn. This is Evan's sound advice. Like, a lot of people always come up to me like, what do you do for warm-ups? Knock on everything. I've never had a hand problem, and I've been playing for many, many years now. I used to have students that were in their 20s that had bad carpal tunnel syndrome or just hand problems in general. But I'd see them like holding onto their sticks for dear life and gripping them really tight. And through the years of experience and learning things, you find out that the grip of your stick should be very loose. I'm just gonna give you some quick tips and quick things that I still do to this day. I started these in high school marching band, wow, a long time ago, probably 85, 86. And some of these exercises, they're very, very simple, but they still hold true to this day. Everyone asks me like, what do you do before a arena or a stadium or a club show? This is exactly what I do almost every single day when I warm up for a gig. They're accent exercises, very slow and controlled. I'm always watching my hands, making sure the technique is proper. Again, with the fulcrum, you never want to hold it really tight. You know, a lot of people have different stick techniques. Some people hold down to the first knuckle, some people are up to the second. Some people, you know, the traditional guys, there's all these different techniques. If you see me play with Korn, it looks like I am annihilating everything in sight and just killing everything. In fact, I am very, very relaxed. Like, I'm barely holding onto the stick. Sometimes the sticks hit me in the back, I'm making a full range motion. I'm relaxed here. I'm not gripping at all. Hardly, it's very loose in my hand. So it's very important, you younger drummers especially, start now with good technique, because you want longevity. You want to play for decades and decades. You don't want hand problems. You don't want to stop what you love to do. This goes back to my instructional DV I did at MI. God, I don't know what year that was, 2003, 2004. It's a simple triplet exercise. And you just count whatever you count, one ta-ta, two ta-ta, or one and a, two and a, however you count it. You're accenting the first note, and then you're going to the second triplet, and then the third. If you're a drum kit player, always pulse something. Always give yourself a coordination exercise. A lot of drummers practice on a pad with a metronome, and that's fine. But if you're on your kit, make sure you're pulsing something. And I'll give you a couple different various exercises you can do on your feet to help with your coordination as well. I hit rim shots with every beat that I play, especially with Korn, especially with any kind of pop, rock, funk, anything where you really want the snare to pop. A lot of drummers hit in the center of the snare drum. I do not. I smack a rim shot almost every time. So with these accent exercises, I'm gonna start with the middle of the drum, and then I'm gonna go to the rim, and you'll really see the difference between the two. Let's face it, you're gonna get the gig if your timing's good and you have a great backbeat. 2 and 4 on the snare, 1 and 3 on the kick, and their timing's impeccable, and they all have gigs. You guys that play a million mile an hour, that's awesome, and it's flashy, and it's super fun, but I'm talking about like being solid and proper technique. That's what my thing's all about. So check this out. The first one, like I said, accent, the triplet, you're gonna start up high, high accents, low notes. So I'm gonna pulse just simple quarter notes right now. So it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're back to the top. Super simple, but you'd be surprised how many people don't play it correctly. The accents are too high, or they're not accentuating the accents enough. So sometimes you'll see you can kind of hear the accent, but not really. So that's why I always nail a rim shot with it. Then you really get the effect like this. With that simple exercise, start getting some coordination things going on. So maybe I'll go to all triplets with my left foot and keep the quarter notes on my right, sounding like this. right? That might be one way to do it. Now let's do all triplets, like this. So now we have that pulse, going the whole time. You can start getting really fancy with it, taking that simple exercise. Maybe I'll play left hand quarter note, and then I'll do right-handed exercises. When I get done with the right, I'll switch to the bell as a quarter note and do the left. Maybe putting the kick drum with the triplet, so it sounds like this. You double bass guys and girls, when you get to the ride, go to your left foot, just because this really works out your feet. Your kick drum's just pedaling along with you, but you're concentrating on the accent. But all of a sudden, you're working out your feet and you don't even really realize it. I love that kind of stuff. Instead of sitting there going, I'm gonna play double bass for 2 hours right now and not stop, because you're sitting there concentrating, it's driving you nuts. When you're subliminally doing something, you're like, oh, you have to nail that pulse, but you're giving your feet a workout and they don't really know it. So like this, so I'm gonna pulse quarter notes here. I'm gonna tread just regular, I'm not gonna accent the kick drum, I'm just gonna play it straight. It sounds like this. So let's do a one hand, 1 foot roll now in between that. Same exact thing, but now I'm gonna offset the kick drum. So it's gonna sound like this. Super simple, but it's super effective, because now you're playing some kind of groove. Those accents are gonna punch out a lot more. It's gonna make your playing a little bit more rounded than just a stiff kind of roll. You're gonna be well-rounded around the kit. Instead of doing something like it's gonna sound more, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more well-rounded, right? Take that a step further. Let's close the hi-hats. Now I'll do that same exercise. I'm gonna put actual double bass on my feet now. So I'm actually gonna play with that roll exercise. So even step further, put triplets now in between the actual triplet pulse on your hands. So it's actually gonna sound like this. If you really wanna get nutty, 2 hits on the hand, 2 hits on the feet in a quad formation. Same exact exercise. Check this one out. This gets kind of crazy. Same exact triplet exercise. I've just moved that. Now, if you put a click track on, you get that flying. Do that for 5 minutes in a row, your chops are getting built up for sure. Again, these are super, super simple triplet exercises. Do them effectively. That's the whole thing. When you're trying to match your hands, don't make your right hand up here and your left hand's down here doing the accents. Look at that imaginary line where the stick is coming up to, and make sure you're matching that with your right, and left. Same thing with the feet. There's nothing worse when you hear someone doing a roll and it's going taka 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 taka, because you're right-handed and the left hand's just kind of following along. No matter what it takes, get all the notes out, and the accent exercises I firmly believe will help that out. So now once you get the triplet exercises down, move it to different notations. Now in 16th note form, you can take the 1, the E, the and the pulse something, set your metronome on 70, 80, super slow, and then really, again, pulse something on your feet, and then really accentuate the accents. So start with the 1, go to the E, the and the Sounds like this. So notice I'm nailing that accent really hard and leaving the other notes down. The reason I'm doing that, again, is when you're playing grooves, if you're doing something like a So you notice I'm mixing the accents up with that. These really simplistic exercises help accentuate all that stuff, especially in funk and pop. A lot of ghost note, grace note stuff. There's nothing worse than a producer or engineer saying, hey, that's really great, but can you put little ghost notes under there? And if you don't know how to do it properly, that's a big hurdle in a studio situation. So I use it live constantly too. I'm constantly riding the snare. It's not necessarily an audible thing, but it's a feel thing for me. So check those out. And again, orchestrate them around the kit. You can go 100 different exercises on that one simple thing. If you've never played in the studio before, a lot of times I'm kind of surprised how many people, the snare hits, as simple as a simple snare hit backbeat, some of the consistencies aren't that great. It's amazing how many people practice, 64th notes at 200 on a metronome, but they don't sit there and just play at 80, 1 and 3 on a kick and 2 and 4 on the snare. That's uber important, Play stuff that's out of your comfort zone. If you have trouble playing at 70 on a metronome, play at 70 for 30 minutes. If you have trouble doing a 200 BPM, do that. I always use Back in Black for an example because that groove is just so solid and he's just hammering. Phil's hammering that 2 and 4 and it's so consistent, it makes people dance. Let's face it, we're the backbone of the entire band. Whether you're playing in a 22-piece orchestra or if you have a 4-piece in front of you, we're driving the boat, right? We're driving the ship, whether you're playing to a click or not. So that consistency has to be there. So really look out for your rim shots. If you play rim shots, if you hit the center of the drum, nail that center of the drum. Make it consistent. If you're playing a pop, rock, funk, anything like that that's not jazz and not kind of all over the place, that consistency's gotta be there. So watch your molar technique, watch when you're coming down on the snare. And I'll give you the example right now of things, what kind of not to do. So you notice sometimes it's popping and sometimes it's not. A bass player or guitar player will be like, what's going on, man? Like there's something weird. They don't really quite know what it is, but nailing that rim shot every single time gives the band a comfort zone to be in. They're gonna trust you. They know you have their back, all that. Now the proper and consistent way to play something like that would be something like this. Super simple, but that's what it's all about. We're timekeepers. You young guys out there that have never used click tracks, start using them now. It takes time to build time. It takes time to build your inner clock. And so nothing worse than losing a gig because your time is fluctuating like this. We're all humans, let's face it. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep, maybe you had too much coffee that day, but it's up to us to really hold the time down. So start using the metronome. Don't play it 100% of the time though, because you're too reliant on it. A band like mine with Korn, we don't use a click at all. So I have to have my internal clock working to drive the powerhouse of my band. I'm a firm believer in if you're hearing it in your head, you should be able to play it with your limbs, right? What really bums me out is sometimes when a drummer has a really, really hard groove and then they're going to the fill and the bottom falls out. It's a super soft, boosh, God, and they're back to it. I'm like, what just happened? I don't even know what the drummer did because I saw his hands moving, but pronounce it. Do it like you mean it, and I don't care what it is. It could be the most simplistic fill. Punch it. If it's a rock and you're going into a crescendo, into a chorus, give them something. Make that shine. Mean that fill with all you got. Because it's super important, when people try to play really fast, flashy fill and the bottom falls out like that, it's bizarre to me. So make sure you're thinking the execution as clean as you possibly can. Record yourself, even if it's on your iPhone or whatever it is, set up a video, watch it back in your practice space and go, man, I could play that cleaner. That was cool, but this is getting sloppy. Or And obviously video yourself live at a gig. That's the best way to do it because there's people in the audience staring at you, and sometimes your nerves get the best of you and you go, man, I gotta watch out for this or watch out for that. So I call it just smart playing, you know. We all wanna have fun, but really concentrate on like, okay, I need to clean this up, I need to execute this better, and the band's gonna thank you for it as well.